everybody, welcome in. I'm Santana Wood, managing editor of TPI's newspapers. We are here with all the candidates for Alexander City's municipal election. We've got all the mayor candidates here as well as the city council candidates. Thank you for joining us. Sorry we can't be in person with you, but we still wanted to bring you this event to allow you to get to know the candidates and inform yourself before the election, which will be August 25th. I want to give a shout out to our sponsors, Jackson Refrigeration and Central Alabama Community College. Also really want to thank our moderators for being here. Wes Talton from Dadeville High School. He is a teacher for AP US History, and also Dr. Ryan Williamson, who is an Auburn University Political Science Department Assistant Professor. I am going to go over the rules of this event. We have planned this to be very fair, unbiased, and we sent the questions ahead of time to all the candidates so they were able to be prepared and allow a little bit of transparency there. Candidates from each position have drawn for a position to speak. Closing remarks will be opposite of that. Candidates will get 2 minutes to introduce themselves, and there will be a 20-second warning and bell to stop time. We've got a red, yellow, green light. Candidates, whenever you see the yellow light, that means you've got 20 seconds until your time is up. All candidates will get equal time, 90 seconds to answer each question, and moderators will ensure candidates do not deviate from that allotted time and also stay on topic with the question. Candidates running for the same position will receive all 3 identical questions, and these questions will be staggered so that each candidate gets the opportunity to answer first. There will be no questions asked or permitted that are deemed inappropriate, personally offensive, an attack on another candidate's character, or derogatory in any way. Time permitting, the moderators will ask candidates Facebook Live questions that have been compiled over the evening. So if time permits, we will ask those, so please comment those below as you have those questions. Again, these are not to be inappropriate, derogatory, anything like that. They are to be well thought out and beneficial for the voters. Candidates will also receive 2 minutes at the end for closing remarks. So those are the rules. Again, thank y'all for tuning in. We're going to start out with District 1 for Alexander City Council. We've got Bobby Tapley, excuse me. He is the incumbent for the position, and Garland Gamble. Okay, so our moderators are going to ask these questions. We've discussed these instructions with the moderators before we went live with this. The moderators will ask questions based on the numbers that have been drawn. Bobby Tapley is going to go first because he drew a number 1, and we will ask the same question to Bobby, and then we will ask that question to Mr. Gamble.
To begin.
And go ahead, moderator.
You want to do the introductions first? Okay. Mr. Tapley?
Oh, gosh, sorry.
Yeah, it's all good. 2-minute introduction.
All right. First of all, I'd like to thank TPI for hosting this event and the United Way for allowing us to have it in this building, for the moderators' time for being here tonight. As you know, my name's Bobby Tapley. I'm the current sitting council member for District 1. I've been in office for 8 years. I'm married to my wife, Rita, for 28 years. We have 3 children. Worked in textiles for 34 and a half years, and at the end of my tenure with that, I was the plant manager, had a $10 million operating budget, over 150 employees, and 8 salary employees. So, lived in Alex City all my life, Christian. I love this town. I want to continue to serve as council member for another 4 years, and just ask people to get out and vote August the 25th.
Thank you all. I echo Mr. Bobby's sentiment. Thank you all, TPI, and all those involved for bringing us together for this very important and informative time. My name is Garland Gamble. I'm a lifelong resident of Alexander City. I've been a part of this community as far as politically and as just a citizen for my whole lifetime, with the exception of the opportunity I had to go to college. I'm married to the former Brenda Bisson, 37 years and counting. I have 4 granddaughters, 3 kids, Miranda, Corey, and Tamara. This opportunity that I've had served 3 terms prior to this, actually District 1 also back in the 80s, which I absolutely enjoyed. I'm here running again because I feel that there's a need to get back involved in city government. City involvement has been a part of all my life. And I look forward to joining the ranks of these gentlemen, fine gentlemen and ladies in here, to be a part of moving Alexander City forward. There's a big challenge, but I'm not afraid of challenges. I think challenges brings about opportunities. So we look forward to what we have before us. If we ever get past this COVID-19, I think there are some exciting things that are ahead for Alexander City. Thank you.
Thank you. For our first question, there are many complaints about wage levels in the area. To encourage incoming industry and retailers, the Alexander City City Council approved that the lowest paid employee receives a minimum of $10 an hour. What is your plan to work with both employment agencies and local manufacturers to ensure workers are compensated at a livable wage? First response to Bobby.
Through the decisions that we've made with the Lake Martin Area Economic Development Alliance and with the corporation of the county commission, the EDA has recommended no longer providing incentives such as tax abatements for existing agency or new businesses if they have anyone on the payroll making less than $10 an hour. So there have also been decisions about raising that figure to $12 per hour for new industry. So we can't regulate what companies choose to pay their employees, but what they're currently paying. But it's our goal of the EDA and the city as well as the county to move toward higher pay. Lost my spot here. With more diverse jobs for our citizens, and we can choose to only incentivize those types of jobs while still continuing support to our existing industry in other ways. And I just think it's important that we emphasize on, our local businesses. They're very important to us, but, we also look for new industry and like to work with them to increase pay raise in that faction. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Same question, Garland.
First, I think we have to identify what exactly is a livable wage. I think the terms are sometimes thought to be interchangeable between livable wage and minimum wage. Those are too farthest from the truth. A livable wage provides individual and families with the ability to have homes, have food on the table, decent transportation, and then something left over. So understanding that, I think, is the key, because understanding your demographics, what is livable here may not be livable somewhere else, and what might be livable somewhere else might be not livable here. We have a unique demographic here, a mixture of both old and young, that we have to take into consideration and try to identify what the livable wage is. Once we do that, we have something to present to potential industries as far as what we expect you all to do. If they come in and we're just saying $10 an hour, $10 an hour may not cut the mustard as it comes to livable wages. So it's important to know what that number is, what that dollar amount is. After we've done that, I think it's important that we be able to provide a skilled workforce for potential employers. So with that in mind, working towards identifying that number and present a nice package to potential employers is the way to go.
Thank you. Our next question. Several events have been held downtown over the last several years to build unity in the community. What ideas do you have for promoting conversations or building unity to lead to more interaction amongst all neighborhoods? First response to Garland.
Okay. I'm going to sort of take this on a roundabout way. I'm going to approach it from the back side rather than the front side, because I'm just that type of thinker. I like to think outside the box. I think 4 things. We have to reinvest, we have to redevelop, and we have to rehab and repurpose. And what I mean by that is that we have to understand that they're having a solid infrastructure within our neighborhoods, build confidence within the citizens to be able to enjoy a livelihood that they would like to share with others. When we bring people downtown, to celebrate unity. But when we build stronger neighborhoods, we have people to create unity, because it's simple to me to understand that if I live in one sector of town and you live in another sector of town, there's a barrier, whether that barrier is real or imagined. If I have one level of income, you have a different level of income. That's a barrier. So if we understand the things that create barriers between the neighborhoods, again, reinvest, redevelop, rehab, and repurpose those things, it gives us a better understanding of what we need to do for people as far as unifying communities. I think it has to begin on the neighborhood level and then be brought up to the commercial level and residential level. Thank you.
Bobby, same question.
Well, mine's a little simpler than that. I just believe as a Christian we should live by the golden rule, which is spoken in Matthew 7:12. So do unto others if you would have them to do unto you. And it sums up the law of the prophets. I said if we all live by that rule, and if we all attend the events and let others see Christ in you, then we would live in unity. I always say if you turn to Jesus, you will turn to one another, not against one another. So Rita and I have a registered trademark slogan which says we're working together to serve you better. So that's how I live my life, to work with everyone and to be a servant. I said this city and our state and nation will do well to do the same. And the way I bridge the gap is I stay in the community, visit the community, go to the local churches, visit them all the time, let them know that I'm no different than anyone else. I don't look at skin color. I don't look from rich to poor. Everyone's equal in my eyes. And if people see that and know you, you come across well and you're able to bridge that gap and bring unity to a community. So thank you.
Thank you. For our last question, do you feel the city needs to elevate the workforce in the area? And if so, how should that be done? First response to Bobby.
Well, I do feel that having a better prepared and higher skilled workforce is one path to bringing better paying jobs to Alex City. And how the city can play a part in that is by continuing to support the efforts of our local school system and CAC. It's my understanding that there will be a new career tech design at the new high school, and it will have dedicated space for new technology that will align with the area's workforce and development needs. It will be designed to collaborate with industry, manufacturers, and companies that meet the high wage demand jobs in our workforce region. And we're very fortunate to have CAC, which is right here in our backyard. And they not only provide a means of academically for people of all ages, but to better themselves, but also by providing opportunities for new citizens to learn new technical skills such as welding, robotics, electronics. But we have to continue to provide pathways for people to better themselves, whether that means to go on to a four-year college, to go straight into the workforce, to go to CAC, to learn a trade or skill, or if they're an adult and just want to make a new career path. I mean, we have all the tools here necessary. We just need to follow through and make sure everyone's prepared. Thank you.
Okay. It's been said that the only thing that's constant in life is change. And as a city, as a municipality, as a government, we have to use that as our first principle, that things are changing. And with the onset of this COVID-19, they're changing even more than we could ever imagine. So to think that after the COVID-19 is over that we can go back to the norm, or that's the thought that we need to throw out the window. Everything is changing. Technology is changing. And if Alexander City don't change along with that to stay current with those changes, then we're going to be a city that's going to fall behind in every area. How do you do that? You do that, and I agree with Mr. Tapley that you have to have a diversified workforce. You have to have a workforce that's willing to come and do the jobs that not traditionally done. Everyone wants to send their kids to college, but college is not always a pathway to success. There are many, many jobs, skilled labor jobs that have provided excellent incomes for individuals. We have to look at that. We have to take a little bit more interest in our younger generation. We live in an aging population here in Alexander City, and if we don't invest in our younger generation, then at some point we're not going to have any other place to go. So yes, I totally agree. We have to elevate it, and we need to be doing that like yesterday. And I sign off with any industry that's coming in and understand that 21st century thinking is the way we have to be.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bobby Tapley and Garland Gamble. It appears we're having some technical difficulties due to the storm, but this is all being recorded, so it's just not technically live at the moment. It appears it's cutting in and out. So we are continuing to work on that, but we're just going to keep rolling because, like I said, it is recording. So the only thing that it may eliminate is the Facebook Live questions, which we will maybe have some chance at the end once hopefully Facebook Live cuts back in again. Hopefully the storm goes away. So Bobby, Garland, thank you both so much. Y'all can be seated. We're going to switch out microphones and bring up Buffy Colvin and Scott Hardy are going to come up together. They are District 1, District 2, and District 3, both unopposed and already elected to their council seats. So we are just going to get them up here and get them ready, and we will let them have their introductions as well. All right, so we have got, again, Buffy Colvin, District 2, and Scott Hardy, District 3. They have already been elected because they ran unopposed, but we felt it was important to include them. It's still important for them to answer to their constituents and, kind of speak their platform for what they are going to do the next 4 years. We are going to start with Buffy, and then we will go to Scott.
Good afternoon. My name is Buffy. I am the city council member for District 2. I have spent the first 4 years as a city council member and have enjoyed every moment of it. I'm excited for the next 4 years because I think this past term we have started to build something to make sure that we are building something for our future, for our children's future. So I'm looking forward to whoever comes to sit on the council and as mayor so that we can continue the work that we have already started. I thank everybody who's all said the same thing. Congratulations, good luck, thank you. So I appreciate everyone, and that lets you know that we live in a city where we all care about each other. So I want to thank everyone for giving me the opportunity to serve another 4 years, and I say, everybody come on, let's go.
Thank you, Buffy. And Scott, you can go ahead with your introduction as well.
Good evening. Thank you to Tapley Publishers for conducting tonight's event and United Way for hosting us tonight. My name is Scott Hardy, and I'm your District 3 City Council representative. 4 years ago, I made the decision to seek office. I was a young man who loved his community, who was looking for an opportunity to contribute to its success. Fast forward to today, and I still have the same goal, but I'm not quite as young. I now have a beautiful bride in KK Hardy. As District 3 City Councilman, I am the Council Pro Tem. I serve as the Chair of Parks and Recreation, sit on both the Planning Commission and Main Streets Board of Directors, and I'm an active member of the Lake Martin Young Professionals. Outside of being KK's husband and Charlie and Stephanie's son, nothing makes me prouder than to say I'm a city council member in Alexander City. I love this community and everything it has to offer. To the residents of District 3, there are no words to truly express my sincere gratitude for trusting me with being your councilman. I will continue to work relentlessly to make sure that Alex City is in a better position than when I entered office. Mistakes may be made, but inaction will not be one of them. Thank you again for the chance to represent District 3, and I look forward to the next 4 years.
Thank you, Scott, and we will go ahead, start with District 2, Buffy, and her questions.
All right, Ms. Colvin, first question. It was discussed recently the idea of raising the mayor's salary based on comparable cities. What are your thoughts on that?
I'm for us raising the salary of our mayor. After we look at what our mayor does, make sure that we're having a mayor who is in office. You can see him when you need to see him. He's accessible. We're able to meet and talk about the things that are going on in the city. If we have a mayor who's in office and he's willing to work, then I think we should actually look at that salary, make sure we are doing our due diligence and making sure we're taking care of the person who is in charge of taking care of our city, our citizens, and our city employees. I think if we look to say we're going to increase the salaries that's required of our minor people, then you've got to keep going. You can't just stop there. So I'm for us taking that opportunity and looking at that to see where we stand with other cities that are comparable to us and what we can do to try to raise that salary or stay where we are. I just think we need more insight into that, and I think we need to do more due diligence at checking that out and making sure we're doing what's best for the city.
Thank you. Okay, your second question. What are some beneficial ideas that have been discussed by the council that haven't gained traction? How do you plan on making those plans come to fruition?
I think the only thing I can think of, I think everything that we set out to do, we have accomplished. I can't think of anything beneficial that we left on the table as of now. I can tell you that we are working diligently to seek new industry, to bring in new businesses. We are seeking to do all we can to improve Alexander City. We have probably 6 council members who are working knowledge of trying to do all we can to seek out every opportunity to make sure we're bringing in new industries, new businesses. So I don't think there's anything we left on the table that we did not complete or finish. Normally, most of our council meetings start without any old business. So I think we're doing everything we can from a council standpoint to make sure we're taking care of the business at hand.
And your final question. Alexander City has limited rental options and affordable housing. How can Alexander City play a role in improving housing options?
I think we started that process by passing a rental ordinance in conjunction with our rental managers and stuff. I think that was a good start. I think we have to continue to fight that fight and make sure we are going by that rental ordinance, making sure we're providing safe environments for people to rent. I think we need to continue to look at those rentals, make sure we're giving everybody an opportunity to rent affordable housing so that we can have a workforce. I think affordable housing leads to a built-in workforce. If you have people who can afford to live in the house they're in, then that means your workforce is actually working. So I think that's where we have to look at, is making sure we're saying if we have a job here, we need to pull the people here. So we need to make sure our workforce is in place, and then we can start to work on making sure people have affordable, safe housing. That's our biggest thing. The biggest thing for the rental agreement for me is making sure people are living in safe environments. I work in the healthcare field, and that's just an important part for me. So safe housing, affordable housing, we definitely need that, and I think we've already started that process by agreeing to the rental ordinance.
Thank you, Buffy, for answering those questions and for your time tonight. We are going to move on to District 3 Council Member Scott Hardy, and you can go ahead and ask those questions now.
So your first question. Opelika, Auburn, West Point, Georgia, and several small towns across Alabama and the Southeast have created a downtown filled with restaurants, art galleries, boutiques, and more. What ideas are there for development of the area to support the businesses downtown and possibly recruit new businesses downtown?
Well, existing businesses are the foundation for any economic development strategy. So in order for us to see the progress that we would like to see downtown, it's important that we nurture and cultivate our current business owners. So one way of doing that would be to hold meetings with our local merchants so that we will have a better understanding as to what their struggles and challenges may be, which will create an opportunity for us to implement a plan that best suits the long-term success of the downtown area. Now, a second portion of that, a resource that could be created would be a grant and or low-interest loan program. This would provide downtown merchants the opportunity to reinvest into themselves. Now, when you speak about new business, I think there's 2 things the city could do to help bring in new business downtown. One, to create an incentive package in conjunction with Main Street, similar to what we see with the EDA, as well as the Chamber, and then making sure that when we do have new businesses coming in, that the business permit process is as seamless as possible.
Thank you. Alexander City is moving City Hall, the police department, and part of the fire department to the new municipal complex in the coming months. Alexander City is currently seeking requests for proposals for options on redeveloping City Hall and the police department building. What do you think would benefit residents the most?
Well, as your question states, there are a couple of current options on the table, but whatever is decided, I think that we need to make sure that it's something that's both economically viable and something that fits a community need. And I think the best way for us to determine what the community would like to see is to engage with them. So I would be in support of offering or conducting a community survey, so that way whatever does come downtown, we're making sure that it's something that's in conjunction with what our citizens wanted to see.
Finally, the Boys and Girls Club was established to benefit many children after school. Now that it's no longer operational, where else do you see the allocation of that money going to serve children's needs in Alex City?
No, our community has so many great things about it, but if I had to pinpoint one thing, it would be the community's willingness to work on the betterment, work for the betterment of our children. And although the Boys and Girls Club is no longer here, it's a void that needs to be filled. So one of your questions spoke about Auburn. Well, Auburn has a program or an initiative called Project Uplift, which is similar to a Big Brother, Big Sister program, and I would love to see something like that brought to Alex City. You would partner volunteers with the community's youth, which does two things. One, it provides a mentor for some of our students, and especially for those that are looking for some of that one-on-one interaction that is definitely needed. And secondly, it provides the mentor an opportunity to give back to their community.
Thank you, Scott and Buffy. I appreciate y'all's answers and y'all taking the time tonight to answer these questions and, speak your platform, even though you have already been elected. Again, feel it's very important for your constituents to know what you represent and know what you are working toward. So next, we are going to welcome District 4 candidates. Eric Brown, who is the incumbent council member, Raheem Ruffin, and Frank Tapley. Got started tonight. We did draw for which order they would go in as far as their introductions and questions. We're going to start with Raheem, then we will go to Frank, and lastly to Eric for the introduction. So Raheem, when you're ready.
My name is Raheem Ruffin. Not from Alex City, probably the only person running for office that's not originally from the city. I've been here for 10 years. My wife and I, we have 4 kids. I'm originally from Tuscaloosa, born in Syracuse, New York, but from Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Not an Alabama fan, unfortunately. I'm a Syracuse Orangeman fan, so I always sit around and wait for basketball season. Football season is usually a disappointment. Married, like I said, been married going on 18 years to my wife, Shantae Ruffin. We have 4 kids. I have a history degree from Stillman College. I also have a degree in public administration from Troy University, and I'm here running for office because my wife and I, we came to Alex City because when we first interviewed here, we absolutely fell in love with this city, and I am still in love with Alexander City. And people will ask all the time, how did you all end up in Alexander City? And well, it's a long story, but short story. Like I said, we absolutely love it. We both have businesses here, so we're here for the long haul, and All of our kids are going to graduate from Benjamin Russell High School. We aren't going anywhere, but like I said, we love this city and we love the people of this city, and serving is just a natural progression of something that you love. If you love something, then you want to do your best to do all that you can to help that place improve and continue to improve and just be all that it can possibly be.
Thank you, Mr. Ruffin. Mr. Tapley, when you're ready.
Okay, my name is Frank, and I'd like to say I appreciate everybody that sponsored the event so that people could know our thoughts and our education. I've lived in Elliott City for 47 years. I'm a member of Hillview Baptist Church. I've been married to my wife, Betty, for 48 years. We have 2 sons, Jerome, which is a lawyer in Birmingham, Alabama, and Jeff, which is a lineman for Alabama Power. We have 4 grandchildren, and worked at Russell Corporation for 16 years. And I've owned my own business and operated it, Tapley Refrigeration, for over 35 years. I've served on the Elliott City Council. I've served on the Tallapoosa County Commission. I'm a certified municipal official. I'm a graduate of Alabama Local Training Institute at Auburn University. I was awarded one of 100 Hometown Leadership Awards from Walmart Corporation. And I was awarded the Wildcat Award by the Alexander City School System.
Thank you so much. Next, Eric, when you're ready.
Yes, my name is Eric Brown. I have lived in Alexander City since I was 12 years old. I call it home. I've been here for 32 years now. I'm married to Misha Brown, my high school sweetheart. I have 2 children. She is 9. Active member of Alexander City Methodist Church. I've been on the council for these past 4 years. I said a long time ago that if there was not a good mayor by the time I'm 40, I'm running for mayor. Well, it worked out to be we had a really great mayor to run, and so the next place to fit in would be running for the city council. These past 4 years have been a blast. A lot of stressful things we've had to do, a lot of tough challenges we've had to overcome, choices we've had to make that were not always easy or necessarily a popular choice, but choices that moved our city forward. I have nothing, but my love for this city has only grown in this. Not just for the citizens, but for the workers as well. They're very unappreciated at times because I tell them they did such a great job that the only time people notice that they're not doing a good job is when that service does not hit out exactly on time as it always hits off on time. So I have thoroughly enjoyed these past 4 years, and that's all I got to say to start out.
And then we'll move on to questions when y'all are ready.
Okay, Mr. Ruffin, start us off. First question. What are some of the issues in District 4 you would like to see the city address if elected?
I'll say I can specifically speak to the area where I'm from, and we live close to boat ramp. And on that road, we have kids that are out playing and families that are out walking their dogs and riding bicycles. And people come, they ride that road, and they launch their boats, of course, and there and back, lots of trash. And lots of speeding. The speed limit for that road is 35 miles an hour. And I would like to see that road patrolled a little bit more. Because like I said, we live in a cul-de-sac off that road to the boat ramp, but I have 4 kids and they like to go outside and play. And I just think the safety of our roads and just a little bit more litter patrol around that area. And a lot of times, if I'm out there, not just our residents are the ones that are launching their boats. We have people coming from out of town, and I can't say which sector is doing the littering or the speeding. But if we're going to have people coming from out of town to enjoy our boat ramp, we want to make sure that it is safe and that it is clean. So that is one of the things that I would like to see improved in my area.
Thank you. Mr. Tapley, your response?
I'd like for the cities to start looking at putting a substation for the fire department and the police department out on the side of town in District 4, because like I say, the police, they could stay there, they wouldn't have to come all the way back into town, and the MTAC runs out there that way pretty regularly. It'd be a whole lot more response for that. That would be the main thing that I would like to see. And I would also like to see his issues, because I'm the one that built the boat ramp down there for the citizens. And I'd like to see that took care of too.
Thank you. And Mr. Brown, your response.
When I first campaigned, the thing that jumped out at me the most was the housing. It's easy the streets are, since this District 4 is predominantly residential, so the streets are an easy one to pick on. But the thing that stood out to me the most was the housing. As you're going and knocking door to door and meeting people and looking where they live, and it's not necessarily the type of person, you can't throw them in to say, well, they're never going to take care of it. The houses were old and run down, which is one of the reasons I was a big proponent for the rental ordinance that Buffy spoke about. That was one of the top priorities for me, to do our best as a city council to help hold people accountable for good living conditions. And the streets, once again, that's another one as well. And there's some drainage issues that need to be accomplished. That's a little bit trickier one to accomplish because you have to get on private property to do that. So it's a little bit of a really tricky issue to deal with. But I would like to continue to work on the streets and continue to try to figure out some solutions for our drainage issues that'll benefit citizens and the city as well.
Okay, Mr. Tapley, you'll start us off on the second question. It has been discussed several times over the past years about shifting the form of government to a city manager or city administrator, handling the day-to-day functions of the city. What are your thoughts on why or why not Alexander City should transition to a city manager or city administrator?
I believe the city manager takes politics out of that. A lot of decisions that politicians make on account of pressure, and there's a lot of them not made right. Because I've been in the public office for 14 years. I've been a lot of that. You'll take it out. Time to stay out there, going job to job, checking on everything, worries to be worried about.
Thank you. Okay, Mr. Brown, your response.
I'm in favor more of the city administrator role. I have done some research on that, and I have spoken with somebody very close to me that's the mayor of a city that's double our size, and they have a city admin position. She said they have not had really good luck out of the two people she had. As the mayor, the council still had political control of this city manager because it's a council appointed position. So the people they've had were easily manipulated by the council, whereas the city administrator answers still to the mayor, to where the mayor still has authority. But the city admin carries a continuity that is lost. If you're rotating out councils and mayors every 4 years, you lose a lot of continuity. Projects get left behind and forgot about. A different mayor has a different previous mayor, so certain projects are just left sitting. The soccer complex is one of them. There's supposed to be a 5-year build out, and 6 or 7 years later, it finally was accomplished. So I'm more of a fan of the city admin. We definitely need some help carrying the continuity where it's this lost if there's a big turnover after an election.
Okay, thank you. And Mr. Ruffin.
Mr. Tapley did mention the politics of having a mayor, and like I said, he has 14 years of experience doing this. Just riding around town though, and what I've noticed since I've moved to Alexander City is we never have a mayor that says they are necessarily a Democratic mayor or a Republican mayor. So I actually don't know our current mayor, Mr. Spraggins. He's never said if he was a Democratic or a Republican mayor. All I know is that he is the mayor of Alexander City. So I can't say that he makes decisions that are based on politics. Now, city manager, of course, like I said, I have a degree in public administration, and over 20 years of management experience, so I would say, yeah, let's go to city manager. I mean, it's something that I could actually do. But for our city, I think the way that things are run right now with our mayor, having a mayor, I haven't had any issues or have not seen where we need to make a change moving forward. Now, if we get to the point where we're having Democratic or Republican mayors and they're running based on party, then we can go back and review that decision.
Okay, and our third question, Mr. Brown, you start us off. Do you see any issues with how the city streets are maintained? If so, how do you propose we fix the issue, and how should it be funded?
I think the current platform the city uses, the micro paver, is a very efficient way to look at the streets and determine where a street is, how far deteriorated a street is. I know that it's a process that works because Auburn, their public works is trying to institute it as well. So I know that the system works, but the funding is really what it boils down to the main issue. We only have $1.2 million every year to spend on it. The bulk of that goes to paving, the other part goes to patching. But we do have sources of income that we could use more of toward that. There's a gas tax that was previous, the new gas tax to rebuild Alabama. That money will be more than what we've been getting in the past. And there's also ways we could possibly restructure our public works, potentially have to add a few jobs, but we could almost create crews that was their job, is to take the streets that are too far gone that don't make the micro paver paving list. We can do in-house the deconstruction, reconstruction of all the base, and then the cost of just paving falls right in line with all the other street paving we do every year.
Thank you. Mr. Ruffin.
Yes, first thing I think we need to do research on the functionality of all the streets in the city, and then we need to rate those cities fair, good, or poor quality, and then at that point we can put together a plan as to how we need to pave roads, because it seems as though some roads get paved and the roads that really need to be paved go unpaved, or it takes an extremely long time to get roads paved, and that may be a funding issue. But the good thing about every street in Alexander City is either going to be a state road, a county road, or a city road. So the county and the state roads, and we can form partnerships with the county as well as the state to get funding for those roads, because they are as much as responsible for keeping those roads upkept as we are. So I think that could be a funding stream to get those things done. And as Eric said, we have the gas tax, which will also help with some funding that we didn't previously have. So do I have an issue? I don't necessarily have an issue with the way that the roads are upkept. As with all things, all things can be improved, and I think there are some improvements that can be made in that process.
Thank you. And Mr. Tapley.
I think the half-cent sales tax made a big difference in the road. There's been a lot of improvement the last few years, and I think if we stay on the right program and grade the roads right, that
Thank you.
Thank y'all for coming up and answering these questions. We are going to take a quick commercial break, hear from our sponsors, Jackson Refrigeration and Central Alabama Community College, and we're going to take a bit of a 5-minute intermission.
What's behind the CA?
A world full of opportunities.
Where are you now? Where are you going?
Where do you want to be?
These are all important in determining your path in life.
More importantly, why be ordinary
when you can be extraordinary?
At Central Alabama Community College, you can be anything you wish to be.
Don't put your future on hold, and don't settle for less than excellence.
We are Central Alabama Community College.
Central to you.
Central to your success.
Jackson's Refrigeration provides a comprehensive solution to keeping our customers comfortable. We provide HVAC service, commercial refrigeration, electrical work, new home construction, cooling system upgrades, and HVAC sales. Our A1 Four Seasons division specializes in HVAC service and gets your family back to comfort professionally and efficiently. If you're looking for quality professionals to service, upgrade, or install a new HVAC system, give us a call at 256-234-4457.
All right, everybody, welcome back. Thank you all for your patience as we took that break. Thank you to our sponsors, Jackson Refrigeration and Central Alabama Community College. Thanks again to United Way for letting us host this here tonight. We are going to hear from District 5 now. We've got Chris Brown, the incumbent, and we've also got Joseph Fuller. So, Joseph, you are going to have your introduction first when you're ready.
All right. Good evening out there. I don't do the Facebook, so I wanted to send a shout out to my dad. Which one am I supposed to be looking at? This one? So, hey, Dad, if you can see us. My name is Joseph Fuller, and I'm an attorney here in Alexander City, and I've been here for about 10 years. I'm a 1992 graduate from Benjamin Russell. I'm the town attorney for Eclectic. I'm the municipal judge of Jackson's Gap, and I'm the city prosecutor for the city of Roanoke. And I only mention all that as to tell you that I have municipal experience. And I also wanted to tell Wes and Ryan to make sure you don't speed through Jackson's Gap on the way home. But anyway, like I said, I'm originally from Alex City. I went off to school. I got my undergraduate degree from UAB. I got a master's degree from Florida State, and then I went to Jones to Faulkner for my law degree. I'm very proud of Alex City. I think that Alex City could be the next Fairhope or possibly even the next Auburn. I think we have lots of opportunities, and I think that if we can work together, which I know everybody says that, it doesn't matter who gets elected. Whoever gets elected, we're going to have to work together. We're going to have to work with city leaders, with business leaders, and with boards around town. So I would ask District 5 for your vote on August the 25th. Again, my name is Joseph Fuller. Glad to be here, and thanks for having me.
Thank you, Joseph. And Chris, when you're ready.
Good evening, everybody, and I'd like to thank everybody that made tonight possible and those that are tuning in to listen and that have a concern for our city. My name is Chris Brown. I'm currently the District 5 Alexander City Councilman. I'm married to Kylie Brown of 21 years this month. She's a school teacher here in Alex City at Jim Pearson. We have one son. His name is Ty Brown. He's a proud graduate of the class of 2020 here at Benjamin Russell, and then currently enrolled in Huntington College, where he is playing football and pursuing a career in sports management. I have a passion for Alex City. I have a passion to serve. I enjoy being involved in our community. I want to help make Alex City a premier place to live, raise a family, start a business, have a career, or enjoy retirement. We have a long way to go, and I'm committed to see the job through, and I'm looking forward to continuing to serve as District 5 Councilman.
So our first question asks, places such as Sylacauga have recently seen increased retail growth along U.S. Highway 280. How can Alex City help encourage economic growth along this area? First answer to Joseph.
So, retail placement is based on demographics. So when these companies come in, they look at the demographics of the area and they see if that's an ideal place to place their business based on that. Highway 280 is a lot of commerce that goes back and forth from Birmingham to Auburn, and there's a very good opportunity for us to seize on some of that, like Sylacauga has done. And you mentioned Sylacauga in this question. I called the president of the council. His name is Lee Perryman, and I discussed this with Lee, and I'm like, Lee, what are you guys doing up there that we're doing different? Well, it seems to me like Lee kind of told me, just looking from the outside in, that it's a lot of cooperation that they do. And I use that word because, again, they send their city council members out to these board meetings, to the water board meetings. There's at least one city councilman out there so that they all know what's going on. So they're all interacting not only with the boards, but they go to the chamber meetings and they go talk to local businesses. And if there's something that they can do to help a local business, they do that. They've changed Sylacauga has changed their permitting, which, you know, Alex City could certainly use some of that. They've changed their permitting procedures to make it easier for businesses and more efficient and more costly for new businesses coming in to look at these areas where they want to build, to get the permits issued and then get the buildings built and get the commerce going. So, I mean, guys, Sylacauga and Alex City is like sister towns. They're very similar. And thank you, guys.
Your response.
Sylacauga has been successful because they've had a vested interest with the developers through land and property, and also, you know, tax savings and tax reductions throughout a period of time. We're going to have to continue to work closely with our chamber and work with our economic group to make sure that we're moving and we're investing and looking for the right companies that come here. We're also going to have to be willing to invest in the development just as they have to be successful to bring new business and jobs to Alex City.
Thank you. Our next question asks, some residents believe there's no appeal for newcomers beyond Lake Martin to settle in the area. In your opinion, what does Alexander City need to bring in new residents? Chris.
Better paying jobs. I think that's first and foremost. I think that's a concern of everybody in this room and everybody in the city, is finding some business to come in that can provide better funding and wages for our citizens. We need to continue to support the growth of our school system and wrap our hands around and encompass and make sure that they're continuing to provide solid education for our kids and that they continue to grow in a proper way. We need to promote our parks and recreations. We've got beautiful facilities here. We have a complex out there that hosts many events, and we need to use that as a tool to entice people to come in and buy into our city and, you know, highlight our historical downtown area. We got a lot of growth here. We got some more growth that we need to do. We need to find the right businesses to bring in to help entice people to want to live here and buy into being a citizen of Alex City.
So I agree with the two things that Chris said. The only way that you're going to get more residents into the city is with job opportunities and a good education system, because people want a good place to raise their family, and so they want a decent education system. Not that we don't have one now, but I certainly think that it can be improved. One way is that the education system can be improved, and I've spoken with Dr. Keith Langford and Denise Bates, the chairman of the city school board, is with this new school. I know it's a huge expenditure, but according to Langford, over time, that new school is going to save the education budget over $1 million a year. So that's another $1 million that they can put into educating our children. So that's a plus. I think that's a good idea. As far as job opportunities go, I mean, Chris says we need better paying jobs. Hell, we need any paying jobs. I mean, if these guys can come in, if we can create some jobs is what we need to do. Would I rather have better paying jobs? Absolutely. But I think any commerce that we could get in right now would be the way to go. I honestly think, and I may have mentioned this earlier, I think that Alex City, given our location near the lake, the 280 thoroughfare, economic development is something that we could be very successful at. And I think that we could be a mini Auburn, especially if we had a really good education system or better education system, as well as maybe even a Fairhope type town. Because the one thing that Russell left when they moved out was infrastructure for water and sewage. So we have that infrastructure already built that we've already paid for, that we could bring manufacturing jobs in, and it's already here. They just have to set it up. Stop you right there. Sure.
Finally, what are your plans for advancing recruitment for city positions by improving retention and providing competitive compensation? Joseph, you're first.
So I'm burning through my 90 seconds. I didn't think I was going to talk that long, but right now the city's set up with Tier 1 and Tier 2. So if you came to work for the city on January the 1st of 2013, you fell into a Tier 2. Well, what happened was the retirement systems down in Montgomery, they did that because the RSA was overloaded when the economy went to crap back in, 2008, 2009. Well, now the problem is the Tier 2 that people are coming in on, it's like 25% less in benefits that the Tier 1 folks get. So Alex City has the opportunity, and I feel like we haven't taken the opportunity to move back to a Tier 1 because of the $13 million or whatever that we spent on the sales office, and I think that our current crew is a little timid on moving that back to a tier 1. But Sylacauga is about to do that. And if the amount of money that we spend on training at least our first responders, if they come in here and we pay to have them trained, and Sylacauga's tier 1 and we're tier 2, they're going to leave and they're going to go to Sylacauga. And it's going to be the same thing with other cities. So it's only going to cost the city about $89,000. And I talked to a guy named Evans Brown down at the Alabama Retirement Employees Association. He seems to think that this is a no-brainer. It's much less than 1% of our overall city budget, the extra $89,000 that we'd have to kick in. This is something that we've got to do, whether I'm elected or not. And I think Chris is on board with this too, just to throw that out there. That's something that's got to be done to retain our current city employees.
Chris, your answer.
This is an issue we have to address. We are losing our city employees to surrounding cities from competitive wages and benefit packages. I am completely for looking into changing our city employees' retirement benefits to tier 1. After talking with several employees in the city and most of the supervisors in the city, this is a big deal for them to be able to retain our current employees that we're spending the time to train to go other places. So, there's a lot of men and women in this city that are at the age of retirement, and there's a big gap between the years that they have and what we have on staff now. So we've got to do a better job of making the quality of life for our employees good, finding ways to make the wage competitive, and definitely take care of them on their retirement.
Thank you to Chris and Joseph, both of y'all, for answering those questions and representing District 5 for running for that district. Next, we are going to welcome District 6. We're going to welcome District 6, Tim Funderburk, the incumbent, and Jimmy Keel, who is also running for the position. Jimmy has brought it to my attention that I apparently failed to email him the questions, or he did not receive those questions. So I just want y'all to be aware of that for full transparency, that apparently he did not receive those questions ahead of time as the candidates did. We are going to let them have their introductions, and it appears Tim has stepped out for a minute, so we will start in just a second. All right, so we drew 4 spots earlier, and Jimmy Keel is going to go first for his introduction and questions. So, Jimmy, whenever you're ready, your 2-minute introduction.
I'm Jimmy Keel. I'm a veteran, family man, former business owner. I'm an avid fisherman and a farmer. I've been married to Martha Duck Keel for 49 years. I've got twin daughters, Shelley Keel Sims, Kelly Keel Fuller, both are teachers. Have degrees in speech pathology. I have 4 grandchildren. Bailey Sims Williams is married to Josh Williams, an agriculture and shop teacher out of Benjamin Russell. Just received her master's degree in the science of language and pathology. Grayson Sims Carvey is at Auburn studying farm management. Kevin Fuller just received a scholarship at Troy University in music. Marty Lane Fuller is our youngest. She's 10th grade at Wetumpka High School. She's received various awards, including Christian Athlete Award, Community Service, a lot of other ones, and we're mighty proud of Marty. But you can see, I believe in a good education system. And all of my kids have one thing in common. They got the education here. You know what did they do? They left because there's nothing here for them. They left Attic City because there's no job. And we're not gonna have anything in this city until we have employment to the level that we had when Russell Corporation left here. They left the very best workforce that any city could have. And over the years, we've got promises from Lake Martin Economical, all these organizations, but we don't get anything. We got buildings empty over here now. And we had more businesses left at it City in the last 2 months than came here. Closed up overnight and left. This city is never gonna build a tax base. They're never gonna grow.
That's your time.
Thank you, Jimmy. And next, Tim, your introduction when you're ready.
Okay, thank you, Santana. I'd just like to start out by saying my name is Tim Funderburk. I was born here in Alexander City at the old Russell Hospital. And if some of you don't remember where that is, it's right over here next to where the Board of Education is now. I went to Old Russell School back in the 60s, and then I went to Elliott City Middle School and graduated from Benjamin Russell High School in 1978. I then attended and received a degree from ACJC. A lot of you call that CAC now, but then it was Elliott City Junior College. I then went on to receive a degree from Auburn University, or I went to attend Auburn University, where I met my wife, Ann. We were married in 1984. I graduated from Auburn in 1986 with a degree in textile management and technology from the School of Engineering at Auburn. I took a job with Russell Corporation after graduating, and not because it was the best job, and it certainly wasn't the highest paying job, but I took it because Elliott City is and always has been my home. My parents and family live here. My friends live here. And that's basically the reason I came back to Elliott City. And I raised 2 sons here in Elliott City. Both were completely through Elliott City School. Both graduated from Benjamin Russell, and both went on to get a couple of degrees. One now a lawyer, one's a preacher. I could be more proud of both of them. I got involved in city government because I wanted other families to enjoy and reap the benefits that we have enjoyed. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Keel, first question. With the annexation of Wicker Point and Miners Cove in the Sturtevant area of the lake, the city will have to provide police and fire protection. What are the ideas to provide the extra police officers and firefighters / EMTs and equipment for the area?
Well, the first thing that should have been the first consideration before you annex anything. How you gonna provide the services to it? How you gonna have policemen, firemen, sewage, water? That should have been the very first consideration of annexing any place. That's about all I've got to say about it.
Thank you. Okay, Mr. Funderburk.
All right. As far as the Sturtevant area, I don't believe that'll be a problem because we already have a fire station there at the top of River Bridge, which covers everything across the river, including my neighborhood. So instead of taking a right, they'll just take a left. So that'll be covered as far as the fire department. As far as the police department, the police already patrols that area, and I talked to Chief Jay today, and Jay Turner, and he told me that it would just increase the amount of patrolling that we would do down there. As far as Wicker Point, that's something we're going to have to look at down the road. We've already talked about it. There are plans in the work. There is already water down there. The developer that is developing that land is going to take care of all the road paving and the sewage and everything that's involved in developing that. So that won't be an issue. It'll just be a matter of locating where we might put a fire station down there, and we already have some of those plans in work. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Mr. Funderburk, second question here. Seeing the potential for growth down the Highway 63 corridor, what are the issues in annexing the Highway 63 corridor?
Okay. Thought a little bit about this, not a whole lot, but we've annexed a couple of different properties, and with Studevin and the Wind Creek area, along with Wicker Point. There's a couple of different ways to annex a piece of property or a road or whatever. One is a local act, which the council can do. It requires a public hearing and then legislative action, and the governor sign off after that. The other way is by petition, and that would mean that the homeowners would sign a petition saying that they wanted to come into the city, and the benefits, are, of course, the city would be revenue over time, but the benefits to the residents would be the increased services that the city would provide, as far as garbage pickup, limb pickup, police patrol, that type thing, and that would actually lower their insurance rates. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Mr. Keel.
First off, there's no annexation unless it goes through state legislation. You do all this city stuff you want to, it's got to be approved by state legislation. And there's already a development down there on Highway 63 with about 50 vacant lots sitting. And I understand the reason it's that way is they couldn't get services down there. It's right before you cross the Lake Bridge on Highway 63. Development from Mr. Tim Evans has done all kind of work in that city. But it's sitting empty. It's got all kind of paved streets in there. They put water and lights in, but it's been this way now for about 5 years. It just went away. But I think you need to talk to the residents all the way down to the 63 corridor too, and get their opinions on it. They might not want to grow down that way, but that's country. And, it's part of it's in my district down through there. But if they annex this or develop it, it's going to be another 6 or 7 miles of annexation.
Thank you. Okay, Mr. Funderburg, or I guess Mr. Keel, excuse me. What are the main concerns of your district, and how do you plan on addressing them? Mr. Keel.
Oh, mine?
I'm sorry, yes, sir.
Okay. Like I said a few minutes ago, I'm a farmer. Farmers feed the world. I've probably fed 90% of Edit City since January. I talk to a lot of people. People come in and they tell me they're concerned about what's going on in Edit City. To make it short, people don't trust the council and the mayor of Edit City. They don't feel they're transparent. They don't feel they're accountable. And they don't feel that they have a common sense approach to city government, just like the municipal complex. It was offered to the city by former mayor Barbara Young for nothing. All she had to do is sign the deed. The city spent $2.5 million purchasing the property and probably another $25 million to develop it. The citizens don't like it. They don't understand it. And they don't think that we need a complex like that. Every building in that city could have been remodeled for a lot less than what they spent on this complex and what's going to be spent in the future. And the other thing, we're a small city. We don't need to look like we're bigger than what we are. We don't need a complex like that.
Thank you. Okay, Mr. Funderburg.
Okay. My answer is going to be a little shorter. The 4 years I've been in office as city councilman, the two things that I hear from all the citizens that anytime that there is a question about, what do you want, number one is roads. Road paving is a big thing. you know, we did the half-cent sales tax, and with that half-cent sales tax, we're able to pave approximately 5 miles of road every year. You know, 5 miles of road in Alex City, you know, it's a lot, but it doesn't go very far. So we've got to look at ways to potentially add to that through some other avenues as far as adding money to that, not taxes, but just adding to that amount so that we can, you know, pave more roads and just try to get more roads paved. The other thing is economic development, and everybody's covered that from everybody that's been up here. And you know, we do need more economic development, but you know, we've been a year now without a person over that department, and we just replaced him.
That's your time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tim Funderburk and Jimmy Keel, District 6 candidates, for taking part tonight. We are getting ready to hear from our mayor candidates, Tommy Spraggins, Woody Baird, and Cynthia Fuller, but we are going to hear from our sponsors really quick, so y'all stay tuned as we hear from Jackson Refrigeration and Central Alabama Community College, and we will be right back with our mayor candidates.
What's behind the CA?
A world full of opportunities.
Where are you now? Where are you going?
Where do you want to be?
These are all important in determining your path in life.
More importantly, why be ordinary
when you can be extraordinary?
At Central Alabama Community College, you can be anything you wish to be.
Don't put your future on hold, and don't settle for less than excellence.
We are Central Alabama Community College.
Central to you.
Central to your success.
Jackson's Refrigeration provides a comprehensive solution to keeping our customers comfortable. We provide HVAC service, commercial refrigeration, electrical work, new home construction, cooling system upgrades, and HVAC sales. Our A1 Four Seasons division specializes in HVAC service and gets your family back to comfort professionally and efficiently. If you're looking for quality professionals to service, upgrade, or install a new HVAC system, give us a call at 256-234-4457.
And we're back. Thank y'all for hanging tight tonight through the technical difficulties. Really appreciate that. That's technology for you. We have heard from all the city council candidates tonight, and we are going to hear from our Alexander City mayor candidates tonight. Mayor Tommy Spraggins, the current Alexander City mayor, Woody Baird, and Cynthia Fuller. And we did draw for spots earlier, and the order is Mr. Spraggins, Mr. Baird, and Mrs. Fuller. So, Mayor Spraggins, whenever you're ready, your introduction.
My name is Tommy Spraggins. Shall I look at this one? And my name is Tommy Spraggins, and I'm a current mayor of Alexander City. I was born and raised in Alexander City. Grew up here my whole life. I grew up in Spring Hill here in Alexander City. I'm a proud product of the Alexander City school system, graduated in 1970. And then I taking advantage of student loans, I went to Auburn University. Graduated in 1974 with a degree in business, majored in economics, went ahead and got my master's degree in business administration. Started my career here in Alexander City in 1974, working for Russell Corporation as a trainee in the Information Services Department. And I was fortunate to move up the ladder in several management roles, and then I was named Vice President in 1986. I had a 37-year career at Russell Corporation. Retired in 2010. And then was offered the opportunity to become the CIO of the Russell Medical Center in 2011, where I retired in 2017. And my family, I'm married to Jennifer, been married for 40 years. We have 2 girls, Lauren and Jill, and they both have families. One lives in Homewood, Alabama, one lives in Auburn. We have 5 grandchildren, fifth one was born this past week. We're proud of our grandkids. I was elected in 2016 District 5 City Councilman, wanting to serve the city of Alexander City and the citizens. In that time, I was elected president of the City Council in November of that year. Served for 2.5 years until Mayor Neighbors passed away on May the 6th of last year, 2019. Very unfortunate there. So I've been the mayor for that 15 months. My platform, I want to make sure I talk about it. The main focus, like several people have said, but my main focus is strong economic development. We need high priority on higher paying jobs. Our citizens deserve better paying jobs. Another goal is to attract more commercial and retail development. Stop you right there.
Woody, when you're ready.
Okay. My name's Woody Baird. Anybody that doesn't know my personal data at this point, you must not be from Alex City because I've been very vocal for years. Anyway, I'm here tonight to tell you what I'll do, what you can expect from me if elected mayor of Alexander City. Our economy has been stagnant for the last 15 years. We lost and not regained our mid-range salary jobs. We can't survive as a retail-based economy at this point in time. Therefore, one thing stands out above all else that will turn Alex City's economy around. This one thing will have a positive effect on the quality of life across the board in Alex City. That one thing is jobs, good paying jobs from different industries. I will actively seek industry that supports our quality of life and provides diversity to our workforce. The lake is an asset and must be an integral part of the economic structure of Alexander City, but it can't be our only asset. And any economic deal Alex City enters into with an outside entity must be an equitable arrangement for both parties. Second, I would like to consider a city manager or supervisor to execute the day-to-day operations of the city. That'll free me up to do what I think I can do best as economic development. Job descriptions within the city administration will be adhered to, and one thing Alex City has lacked over the last several years, several administrations, is leadership. Strong leadership is required to run a municipality, especially in today's world of COVID and unexpected natural disasters, such as the windstorm we experienced on April 19th. 20 years of military service, working in austere environments, little or no supervision, taught me the leadership skills required to run a city. So if you're not happy with the status quo and want to see Alex City move forward, grow, and survive, vote Woody Baird for mayor on August 25th.
Thank you, Woody. Fuller, when you're ready.
I'm Cynthia Ann Fuller. I originated in 1959 in Alexander City in the Flint Hill community. I was baptized and christened at Flint Hill United Methodist Church. My mother and father were an integral part of Alexander City. They owned Fuller's General Merchandise right across from Flint Hill United Methodist Church for years. Basically, I married, had 2 children. I've got grandchildren. I've worked for Russell. I've worked for different places, Alba. Basically, I am disabled. I am fighting for people's rights. Basically, I have been impregnated with a chemical that can basically, my body can be accessed by CIA equipment and satellites. I've been tortured for 10 years fighting the government, but I decided I had enough. So here I am, today, disabled. I may only be able to work part-time, but I can assure you it'll be a full-time, part-time. But it's part of the thing that I think it needs to be addressed for our nation to be a free country. I don't think it was by accident that God placed this slave device in Alabama. I truly believe I had both parties fighting on either side of the war in my own family history. I had some in the Union, some in the Confederacy. I think that basically Alexander City can be much greater than it is.
Thank you, Ms. Fuller, and we'll go to questions now.
Our first question. Huntsville Mayor Tommy Battle visited with several leaders here to Alexander City in November. Battle shared lessons learned as the Huntsville area has grown over the last few years, losing out on landing new industry to other areas. One of the biggest issues was overcoming competition among the towns and communities in the area competing against each other. Ultimately, they came together and have landed the likes of Aerojet Rocketdyne, LG Electronics, Facebook, Google, GE Aviation, and Mazda Toyota in the last few years. how do you see Alexander City working with Tallapoosa County, Coosa County, Dadeville, and other nearby municipalities and economic development entities, both industrial and retail? First response to Mayor Spraggins.
We must work together with common goals among all of us. The Alabama Department of Commerce strongly recommends a regional approach to economic development. They don't want to deal with one person in this region. They don't want to deal with all the different entities. I think that's the right approach. Our current Lake Martin Area Economic Development Alliance is a regional approach. It includes the counties that you just mentioned and the different cities that are involved. Unfortunately, the past 14 months, we've been without an executive director, untimely passing of Don McClellan. But as of today, we do have our new executive director. He started today, Chad Odom. Chad comes with a lot of experience in economic development. He had his background in New Orleans, and he's also been working in Wharton, Texas, the last 5 years. We're excited about getting Chad on board to help lead us with our economic development. Of course, the city of Ellicott City is very critical to economic development with the Lake Martin area. And we're actually the largest contributor. The budget for Lake Martin area economic development is a little over $300,000. We contribute $85,000 to that. The mayor sits on the executive board for that organization, and our president of the city council sits on the full board. The Chamber of Commerce is also on that board, so the chamber is active. The chamber is focused on community recruiting, commercial, and retail. And we do have property available in Alexander City that we've got available for industrial recruitment. 63 acres close to the airport, 90 acres over by the Avondale area. So we're excited. We want to recruit new people, and we feel like we're moving in the right direction.
Mr. Baird, your response.
I've been using Tommy Battle's visit to Ellicott City as an example in my campaign. First, we can't compare Ellicott City to Huntsville. I mean, it's just nowhere close. Two very different cities. But what Mayor Battle stated we can use. As a matter of fact, Alexander City has spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on consultants who advised Ellicott City to do exactly what Mayor Battle directed. Community planning academics from Auburn University told us the exact same thing. Trouble is, we've never followed that advice. The entities that make up the economic structure of Alexander City and Lake Martin region must work together toward one unified goal at a time. Our national and state elected officials have stated that they would help us if we could establish one goal and work together to obtain that goal. Once we build a strong working economy, then retail will follow. But we've got to have that manufacturing. CACC currently is training our kids to leave home. Welding and robotics is teaching our children to leave home because we don't have those jobs here. So we need to restructure what they are training, especially with this Wicker Point development. Look at what kind of jobs are going to be available in this Wicker Point development over the next 10 to 15 to 20 years. We need a long-term plan to address those needs and to provide that training so that those kids can stay here. Thank you.
Thank you. And Ms. Fuller, your answer.
It is true. I mean, Ellicott City is not Huntsville. We don't have that type of area. We don't have that money. Ellicott City, well, all we've got is 280 and a train track. So what you think about are all the counties that are around us. We've got Coosa, we've got Clay. So what can you bring in? Basically, you have to think of what we're doing right now. There are countries smaller than Alabama that have started using hydrogen train engines. You know, why can't we break into some of this hydrogen train engines and trucks, those big trucks? We would take tons of oil and gas away from what we have to consume. You know, why can't we make those automotives and those big trucks and sell them throughout the United States? There's no reason why we can't. You have to have forward thinking. A lot of times what we've gotten bogged down into is gas and oil. And we've got to branch out. We've got to look at. We've got to see the different things that we can do together. I mean, there's no reason why we can't have the kind of jobs that are needed.
Thank you. Next, Alabama has seen lower sales tax collections on average the last few months due to the COVID-19 pandemic, while Alexander City has seen record collections outpacing the same months from last year. Is there any fear if the pandemic continues for months more that collections will fall? If they fall, how does the city help cover the gap of the potential revenue lost? First response to Mr. Baird.
The spike in sales tax revenue from March of this year until now is an anomaly. It's not normal. We need to be setting aside money right now in anticipation of any kind of unexpected decrease in tax revenue. But the current administration seems to think the increase in revenue is here to stay and appears to be spending as quick as they get it. COVID will end and sales tax revenue will likely decrease when our population that's sheltering at the lake leaves. We should be budgeting for that reduction. As far as covering the gap, the only logical, sustainable, stable alternative would be very unpopular, and that is property tax. Our retail businesses cannot sustain another sales tax increase. I work retail. I have a retail business. The increased sales tax has hurt my business over the last few years. Our state has the second lowest property tax in the country. This is all we have to fall back on, so that's the direction we're going to have to go. And the city has got to become more business friendly also, because right now they're still not trying to get a business license in Alex City is like pulling teeth. So that also is something that needs to be addressed. Thank you.
Ms. Fuller, your answer.
What you have is, when you're covering the gaps of potential revenue loss, the only real way to make sure you can operate the essentials of the city government, which is water, sewage, electric, gas, fire, and police. You have to look at cutting things, cutting equipment purchases, supplies, see where you can cut back on hours and things. It's not popular. It's, because everybody wants a raise. Everybody wants more money. It's because we have runaway inflation. And I can understand it. I worked at Russell. I remember getting a nickel raise. I remember these times. And I went to work, I think it was $3.25 an hour. That was minimum wage. So, we have to decide, what we can sell. Do we have any assets we can sell? Can we meet less? Can the mayor's office do without a salary for 4 years and have it rerouted? Sometimes these are hard questions and these are hard things to do. I'm on disability, I don't have all the answers, but I can tell you it's difficult.
Last, Mr. Spraggins.
Yes. I consider myself a fiscal conservative as someone who's a very good steward of taxpayer dollars. I worked at Russell Corporation. I managed a department of 150 people with a budget of $20 million. The city of Alexander City has a budget of $55 million, 320 employees. It is a big job, and it's a big business. We're trying to run it like a business. During this, right now we're in the middle of a 2021 budgeting process. Now, we haven't presented to the city council yet. We have 3 work sessions set up in September. And my recommendation to the council will be that we will keep our revenue projection equal to the way we ended 2019. We would not consider anything that happened in 2020 as far as sales tax revenue. So that extra $1 million we're getting in sales tax revenue won't be on the table. So we're going to be, our expenses will be managed. We'll still be about $3 million in revenue over our expenses, operating expenses, and we'll use that money for capital projects that we can. We may have to cut back on some capital projects. One thing we'll always do, we'll watch all our capital expenditures, and we'll never spend more than we're bringing into revenue. That doesn't happen in the city, but it's in the city under my watch. Thank you.
Thank you. Finally, being a leader means making some hard decisions. What are some of the unpopular decisions or recommendations you feel the mayor may need to make over the next 4 years? First response to Ms. Fuller.
Well, as you know, recessions are part of a capitalist environment, and also even pandemics. It's been discussed over and over. Every time we have an uppage in gas and oil, 4-day work weeks, cutting, making sure that we still, our employees still have employment and benefits, but still have a job. It's hard when you are trying to pay on a house and you literally are on unemployment and food stamps. So, you know, we modify our time, we modify our staff, we modify our work, working with less and keeping a balance of service. We have to think outside the box. We have to be flexible. We have to know what we're doing. I had a proposal on how to do something with Lake Winds. Put a staff there, make a small, tiny community employee housing place on the far end. Let that be part of the salary at $7.25 plus housing. That's still a pretty good wage. You have to figure out how you can do with what you've got with the employees that need to work that service. Basically, it just takes a little.
Mr. Spraggins. One near-term decision we have to make soon is one that you asked Councilman Hardy earlier, and that's regarding what we'll do with the police station, our courthouse, and our city hall building today. Those are buildings downtown, and everyone's concerned about what will happen to those buildings when people move out of those buildings. It's an important decision for our community. We want our community engaged in that decision. There's an emotional element in ties, especially to our police station, our courthouse. This building's very old. It's built back in the 20s and was the previous city hall building. So it is a historical type building. So we have an emotional tie there. So it's we just got to make the right decision there. And I don't know what that is at this point. We do have some ideas, but we want the community involved in the decision. Another imminent decision, I believe, is our aging infrastructure. We do have an aging infrastructure with our roads in Alexander City. Our sewer and our water system is aging, and we really need to, we've got some tough decisions to make. I asked my staff 2 months ago, we're working on a project now with Jackson Thornton, and I asked them to put estimates in, really detailed estimates on what our infrastructure costs would be in their area from each of the water, all the utility groups for the next 5 years. And they came back with $28 million in expenditures. There's no way we're going to spend $28 million on the infrastructure in the next 5 years. But we have to put priorities in place, and there are big needs in our city. We have an old infrastructure, so we need to make those tough decisions. Then I would say the budget constraints, hiring freeze that we put on recently, we may have to do that again to reduce operating budget if we need to, and look at our capital expenses.
Last, Mr. Baird.
Pleasing everyone is impossible. Being a strong leader means you must analyze the information available and make the best choice that will positively affect the greatest number of people. I see debt incurred by our city as our single biggest threat. Infrastructure such as roads and sewer are going to be a major concern. If we have too much debt, then we have a hard time even maintaining the infrastructure we have, much less improving that system. So I see that as probably our biggest problem, the biggest decision that's going to be made in the future. As far as the existing buildings over here, personally, I don't see that much historical importance of the old police station. I just, you know, right now, I don't, that's something that would have to be examined and probably left up to the people of Alex City. If they want to keep it and they want to pay for it, then let the citizens decide. Thank you.
Thank you to all our mayor candidates, Tommy Spraggins, Woody Baird, and Cynthia Fuller tonight for answering all those questions, and to all our council candidates tonight. We are going to have some closing remarks here from all the city council candidates as well as the mayor candidates, but we are going to cut to a quick commercial break and hear from our sponsors, Central Alabama Community College and Jackson Refrigeration. We will be right back.
What's behind the CA?
A world full of opportunities.
Where are you now? Where are you going?
Where do you want to be?
These are all important in determining your path in life.
More importantly, why be ordinary
when you can be extraordinary?
At Central Alabama Community College, you can be anything you wish to be.
Don't put your future on hold, and don't settle for less than excellence.
We are Central Alabama Community College.
Central to you.
Central to your success.
Jackson's Refrigeration provides a comprehensive solution to keeping our customers comfortable. We provide HVAC service, commercial refrigeration, electrical work, new home construction, cooling system upgrades, and HVAC sales. Our A1 Four Seasons division specializes in HVAC service and gets your family back to comfort professionally and efficiently. If If you're looking for quality professionals to service, upgrade, or install a new HVAC system, give us a call at 256-234-4457.
And we're back. We are going to start out with closing remarks from our mayor candidates since they are already ready. Moderators, y'all want to do the order? I'm not sure which order it is.
First to Mayor Spraggins.
4 years ago, you voted for change and elected 5 new city council members and a new mayor. I have been fortunate enough to be part of that change. We brought integrity, respect, honor, and cooperation back to the mayor's office and the city council. We cleared up the old Russell campus. We restored financial stability to the city, and many more things. I served as president of the city council, like I said earlier, for 2.5 years, and the past 15 months as the mayor. In those short 15 months, I'm proud of several accomplishments. I'll highlight a few. One is the sales tax revenue is up 10.8% this year. We'll end the year $1 million up. The annexation of the 2 lake property developments we've already mentioned on the north end, Miners Cove, on the south end, Wicker Point. Economic development, Russell Marine Boating and Outdoor Store, $10 million investment, big for our city. Redevelopment of the old Russell main office that's going on now and the property adjacent to it. The transparency that I brought to the office. When we started doing monthly financial reporting last July, doing that every month and everybody likes, you can see the numbers. And then we started doing a mayor's recap 3 months ago. After every city council meeting, I personally explained every resolution, everything we talk about, and what's behind everything we discussed in those council meetings. In closing, I truly love Alexander City and have a passion for serving all the citizens of Alexander City. My family is very supportive and understands that the mayor's job is more than a full-time job, and I am committed to make that my top priority. Progress has been made, but much more is needed. I would be honored if you would vote for me on August 25th.
Mr. Woody Baird.
Anybody that knows me knows I have a passion for Alex City. If you've read any of my editorials in the paper, followed me over the years, you know my passion for Alex City. I want to see Alex City survive, and I want to see it better. Growing up in Alex City, I remember a vibrant community with good schools and a great hospital, a place where your children could get a job and live here and expect a great quality of life. That's no longer the case. As mayor, I will strive to reestablish those jobs and improve the quality of life for all citizens. Too many assets have been diverted to the new municipal facility while ignoring services to our citizens in their neighborhoods, especially since the windstorm. That will change, and the citizens will come first. I hope to establish a plan for the future of Alex City so we are prepared to meet the physical and economic needs of those as those needs arise. So if you desire to see Alex City grow and prosper, vote Woody Baird on August 25th for mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Cynthia Fuller.
Basically, I think everybody loves our family. We wouldn't be up here. There's a lot of stuff we don't ever like about it, and we fuss. The reason why I'm here is basically I feel like I've been ignored for 10 years on a very tragic situation, which was basically I'm attached to the satellite Star Wars system. And I think basically it's wrong, and I have been through a lot in 10 years, and I think Alex City was chosen to do this, to make sure if we can't get rid of it, at least put some laws out there to help modify it so then citizens can be free. Animals can be animals. It's a horrific spy surveillance system. And I think that basically what I've got in mind will bring in a lot of money from Congress. And that's what we need. It's not downplaying anything about the other candidates. It's just that I felt like it was time for me to come out. And you may think I'm nuts, but this thing exists. And I am disabled. I have brain damage, irreparable damage to my body from this weapon and what I've lived through. And that's how strong I feel. We can not only can we make a difference in our city, we can make a difference around the world. And we're a very small town.
Thank you, Mayor Spraggins, Mr. Baird, and Ms. Fuller for your comments tonight. We are going to bring up District 1 for their closing comments. All right, we're going to hear closing comments from District 1 candidates Bobby Tapley, who is the incumbent, and Garland Gamble.
First response to Garland Gamble.
Thank you. I'd like to speak directly to the voters in District 1, those who may consider voting for Garland Gamble as the next city councilman for District 1. I want you to know that Garland Gamble checks the box. He checks the box because he lived and have lived in Alexander City for 59 years plus in county. He checks the box because he's worked in the community, working his way up from a bag boy at Winn-Dixie all the way up to a department manager in Russell Corporation. He worked his way from being a liability to this city to being an asset to this city. He worked his way from being an employee to an employer. I want you to know you can check the box because he invests in this community. You can't expect people to believe in what you don't believe in. So I invest in people, I invest in property, I invest in work. You can check the box for Garland Gamble because he hires. I use what God has blessed me with to be a blessing to others. I'm not only an employee, I'm an employer. You can check the box for Garland Gamble because he supports. As a voice for those who are voiceless, I have used my platform to speak to those who don't have a voice in this city. Not only this city, but this county. For those who want to be heard but are never heard, I've used my platform to be that person for them. You can check the box with Garland Gamble because I've served my community 16 years plus of public office, 35 years public service. You can check the box with Garland Gamble because I am what I am because of what this community has made me. And I'm indebted to this community to serve. And being a city councilman is my way of paying back a debt that I owe to this community. As a political pioneer in the fight for equality and justice from down and downtrodden, the less, the least, and the lost, and the disenfranchised, the voices, I have endeavored to be that change that I desire to see. Thank you, and vote Garland Gamble, August 25th.
Bobby.
I'd just like to thank everybody who has supported me in the past for the past 8 years. I think I've checked many boxes. I've only been elected 2 terms, been the only surviving council member. I was re-elected because I am heavily involved in my district. I'm known to be honest, compassionate, and caring for my community, that I am the voice for those who have no voice. I'm the one that's in the community going door to door speaking to people, not only when it's election time, but throughout the 8 years I've served. I have been committed to the community. I have seen a lot of change in the 8 years that I've been elected. I've been through a completely new council. I've been through 3 mayors and have held my integrity, honest. I've been told I'm one of only few on the council that has an A in their vocabulary. So I do speak for my community. I'm not one of the yes men who just votes yes. I listen to my constituents and I vote that way. I'm going to continue to be an integral part in my community. There's going to be that voice, a strong voice for the community. I'm going to continue to be actually involved in the community because I believe every voice needs to be heard, that no one's better than anyone other. And I'm passionate about it. And if you're a Christian, that's what you are and should be, is you care about others before yourself, and I put others before me. And that's why I'm asking you to get out and vote August 25th for Bobby Tapley for District 1 for a 3rd term. Thank you.
Thank you to our District 1 candidates, Bobby Tapley and Garland Gamble. Next, we are going to welcome up both District 2 and District 3 council members who, again, They are unopposed. They have already been elected, but we did want them to participate tonight. So Buffy, Colvin, and Scott Hardy are going to give their closing comments next. Buffy, whenever you are ready for District 2, go ahead.
For the support, we want to say, first of all, I'm going to say for everybody who's actually campaigning at the moment, I'm praying for y'all. I hope that all the voters listening, I hope that you all choose the candidate you feel will answer the questions and check the box for you. Make sure that we are going out to vote. Make sure we're letting our voices heard. Again, thanks everybody for the support. I want to thank my family, my friends, everybody who's always said, Buffy, if you need me, I'm there. Again, thanks to all the sponsors tonight for putting this on. Thanks to the Outlook for having us, for inviting us to do this. I do appreciate the community support that you all have. Thank y'all so very much. And if anybody needs me, my number's published in the Outlook, and all I can say now is go Wildcats.
District 3 Council Member Scott Hardy.
Thank you again to Tapley Publishers for conducting tonight's event, United Way for hosting us, and to our wonderful moderators. Having the opportunity to serve as your District 3 City Councilman has been the honor of a lifetime. Our city has experienced tremendous gains during the past 4 years. However, we still have areas of improvement that need addressing and goals left to accomplish. As I began my re-election campaign, I created a platform consisting of 3 P's: passion, poise, and progress. My passion for Alexander City is what drives me. I would not be the person I am today without this community. It has provided me with an exceptional academic foundation, a strong sense of civic pride, and the work ethic needed to achieve professionally. It is now my responsibility to continue to pay it forward and do whatever I can to make sure that this next generation has the same opportunities for council members. We may not always agree on the best course of action, but I've always tried to look at all sides of the issue to ensure I'm making the decisions possible. Progress is often for us to take the next step. We have to continue to think outside the box, look for solutions that best fit our community. We no longer afford to be lifetime. Not enough to think about today, but instead how we can improve tomorrow. Again, to the citizens of District 3, thank you for allowing me the privilege of serving as your councilman. Here's to 4 more years. Thank you.
Thank you, Buffy and Scott, for Districts 2 and 3. Next, we're going to welcome up District 4 candidates Eric Brown, Raheem Ruffin, and Frank Tapley for their closing remarks. So we're going to hear from Eric Brown, Raheem Ruffin, and Frank Tapley, candidates for District 4. First, we will hear from Mr. Brown, whenever you're ready.
Normally, I don't like to read a response, but I will this time, so bear with my glasses. Time has caught up to my eyes. It's been an honor to serve, honor and a privilege to serve for 4 years. This position is more complicated than it first appeared. It's really easy from the sidewalk to question other people's choices without knowing information that they know. But through my business, 17 years, I'm accustomed to asking hard questions, making hard choices to do what is right. I've done the same thing on the city council. Called a yes man, but sometimes yes is not always the most popular answer to move forward. What I've learned is that everybody in our city is important. Not one single person is bigger than another or smaller than another. It takes every one of us to grow and move forward. We've had great positive growth as a community, and that will only in our outlook of the future. We need consistency to continue to move forward as a community, not to regain what we want, but to become who we're meant to be as a community. I will continue to make or in the best interest of all of Alexander City. Preserving our quality of life today and for the future generation is my top priority. Our future is bright. For your consideration and support to continue working on bettering our wonderful community. Thank you, District 4.
Mr. Ruffin?
Not a original resident of Alexander City. Moved here 10 years ago, and I hit the ground running when I moved to Alexander City, serving in many capacities. I've served on several boards, been coaching youth sports since I moved here, and I continue to serve in this community. My senior year of college, I was actually nominated and won our Stillman College's Humanitarian of the Year award out of 1,000 students. I was chosen for that award and ultimately won that award because I showed up every time that I was supposed to be where I was supposed to be, and I served and I did what I was supposed to do. And my neighbors in my neighborhood, I have elderly neighbors in my neighborhood. If I notice that there are trash cans, if it's raining outside, I always get their trash cans and put them back near their houses. I had an elderly neighbor 2 years ago. He usually keeps his grass cut, and I just noticed that grass was not cut, so I didn't ask. I just grabbed my lawnmower, and I went and cut his grass. Now, he has a riding lawnmower. I have a push lawnmower, and I quickly found out why he had a riding lawnmower, because his backyard was way bigger than I thought, because I couldn't see it from the street. So Alexander City residents, I'm committed to serve in whatever capacity, and win or lose. And I think District 4 is going to be in good hands, whomever is chosen amongst us. Eric and I are actually friends and have eaten lunch several times, and I'm going to support either one of these guys if I'm not chosen as a winner. And whether I'm on city council or not, I'm going to continue to serve the citizens of this city in whatever capacity, and I'm going to support whichever one of these guys wins that seat. So just thank you, and August 25th, vote for Raheem Ruffin.
Mr. Tapley.
Just a few things that I've been involved in over the years was the Ellis City boat ramp, and I helped build the Imagination Station playground out at the Sportsplex. Spent hundreds of hours working on AC units at Cooper Rec, City Hall, Ellis City Sportsplex, Ellis City Police Department, Ellis City Fire Department, Ellis City Library at no cost to the city. And went to Mississippi and purchased a mobile command center for the police department at no cost to the city. And I've had several on the county commission. There's been a lot of tough decisions. I had to make one time, but I couldn't tell the reason, because when you're dealing with industry and stuff like that, there's certain things you can't give out. So I couldn't really explain it. I just had to make the decision on what I got, and I got criticized a lot about it. But I checked last week for that vote. The schools in Tallapoosa County has got over $2 million of revenue off of it that they wouldn't have got if I had voted the other way. And I've never avoided a question that the Alexander City Outlook has asked me, and I've answered every one of them honestly. So if you want to see that kind of leadership in District 4, vote Frank Tapley for City Council, District 4, August 25th. Thank you.
Thank you. District 4 candidates Eric Brown, Raheem Ruffin, and Frank Tapley. Next, we are going to hear from District 5 candidates Chris Brown and Joseph Fuller. So we're going to hear from Chris Brown and Joseph Fuller, District 5 candidates. First up is Chris Brown.
Transparency, economic development, accountability, mindfulness, adaptability, leadership, equality, community. Team Alex City. The citizens of Alex City are resilient. They deserve a better tomorrow. And I'm asking for your continued support on August 25th. Vote Chris Brown.
When you're ready, Joseph.
There's been a lot here said tonight about economic development, and I'm a big economic development guy as well, but I don't think any economic development is going to be done until we get through this COVID thing. I mean, it is what it is. It's the nature of the beast. You know, Chris is my neighbor. Mayor Spraggins lives a couple blocks down. He was District 5 rep before he became mayor. And I got involved in this because I felt like I was not happy with the direction of the city. I'm still not happy with the direction of the city. If you're happy with the direction of the city, then by all means, vote for my opponent. If you want some change and you're not happy with the direction of the city, I mean, the sales office is pretty much a done deal. I don't know we can go back on that. But if you're happy with the way things are going, then by all means, vote for my opponent. Thank you.
Thank you, District 5 candidates, Chris Brown and Joseph Fuller. Lastly, we are going to hear from District 6 candidates, Tim Funderburk and Jimmy Keel, for their closing remarks. Tim, we'll start with you whenever you're ready for your closing remarks.
4 years seems like a very short time. Then again, it seems like an eternity at the same time. 4 years ago, when I made the commitment to run and was elected for City Council to represent District 6, we took office with no budget and no financial status. In fact, there had been no budget presented or approved anywhere close to on time for the previous 4 years. We had no accurate financial statements to work with. The city was in a mess, to say the least. I ran because I wanted to make a difference. With the work background I had in management and dealing with managing multi-million-dollar budgets in my jobs for years, I felt like I could definitely help contribute. 4 years ago, Channel 12 News had been a regular visitor with good reason to our regular council meetings. After elected and installed, we immediately went to work and created and approved a working budget, put a lot of the right people in the right places. This city worked as it should. We hired a great financial manager in Sandy Stanbro, and so far, every budget for the year has been submitted and approved each year on time. This year will be no exception. We have a monthly financial report submitted during the council meetings each month. They are reviewed and explained during the council meeting. We have caught up on 4 delinquent audits during our term, and hopefully plan to make it 5 by the end of October. That would be 2014 through 2018. We took on a lot of challenges that nobody else would take on, that had been kicked down the road, and we were willing to do that. I fully believe the things this mayor and council have put in place in the long run will make Alexander City a better place to live and a better place to work. I ask for your support and most of all your vote on August 25th. Thank you.
Thank you, Tim. Jimmy, when you're ready.
I was sitting in my shop a little while back, and I was complaining about everything that was going on in the city. One of my friends come in and said, "Why don't you quit complaining and run? Do something about it." I'm 77 years old. I'm a farmer. I got other things I could be doing. And as far as the pay for this job, I sell more tomatoes than this job pays. I just thought that I could make a difference. I've always wanted to serve. I've lived my whole life here. And I want to commend all of the people that served and those that are wanting to serve. I think it's something everybody should consider. But I want to see things get away from the way it's always been done, and I want to see change. Just to give you an example, I pulled up the minutes on the council meetings from January the 1st, June the 15th. 67 resolutions and requests. Guess how all the council members voted? Wild guess. Yay. No no's. You can't agree on everything. Sometimes you got to have discussion. You got to talk. You know, disagreement is healthy. And this is not, you know, it's just not happening. And I'm going back to what it's going to take to make this city grow. You got to get decent employment. You're not going to do it with jobs of these little retail companies. You're going to have to keep these companies here. They've been leaving in the middle of the night. One of them left with a big utility bill for the city. One of them left his car sitting in the middle of the street, had to be repossessed. You don't try to get those kind of business into Elliott City. You got to get thousands of jobs like Russell Corporation had. You know, one of the mayors made a good comment. We are a training station for everybody else. You know, our kids are leaving here. We've got to get some economic development here and some good, decent paying jobs with benefits.
District 6 candidates, Tim Funderburk and Jimmy Keel. We're unfortunately not going to have time to take any live questions tonight. I don't think the candidates want to spend the night at United Way. We went over time, but I appreciate everyone, all the candidates for participating tonight, and for all the viewers for taking part, and for your patience as well. To our excellent moderators, to our sponsors, CAC and Jackson Refrigeration, and for United Way for letting us host this. Again, I'm Santana Wood, and we are Tapley Publishers, and thank y'all for tuning in. Have a good night.